Right guys, we are outside of a property. We're going to be going in and hopefully negotiating rent to rent live. We're going to try and keep the mics on, get loads of information about us dealing with objections, speaking to the landlords directly. This property is a great location, as you can see here. This is one of the biggest hospitals that there is in Leeds. So in terms of demand, there's a studio apartment underneath this block, and then it's a 2-bedroom house as well. So potentially seeing it as a 3-bedroom house with 2 kitchens and then 2 bathrooms. So very, very good layout and spec for the kind of clientele that we'd be getting. So if we're looking at kind of locum doctors and nurses and them kind of people, then they're going to want to be close to somewhere where they're working. This hospital is a teaching hospital, so there's going to be a lot of people coming from maybe courses or placements and them kind of things, where actually going to the universities and the people that are doing the placements, it could be a really, really cool way to look at things as well. So we're going to go in, we're going to speak to landlord live, and hopefully we can get some gems for you guys and we can deal with some objections and we can get this property over the line. Right, so this is the downstairs studio, yeah. I mean, it's done very nicely. Plaster's fresh, isn't it? Yeah, I mean, once you've got a fridge in here, there's going to be like no room.
Yeah. That's how Mr. Jones.
How are you doing, mate? You alright? You good, mate? Good, how are you? Probably better not done as a studio. I mean, it's all freshly and nicely done, isn't it? What did it say? 18? 19. Everything included for 19. It's going to be nice, like obviously once it's done and everything, and you can stage it well because it'll look really fresh on the walls. Even with all bills in, is that going to be high for the area?
Yeah, you look at it properly.
You've got an ensuite room downstairs, and then you've obviously got the house with the 2-bed, 1-bath, which obviously works. And the rooms are big enough for like two beds, so you can do zip and links, and it is to a nice high modern standard. But yeah, well, you've been talking to this guy, haven't you? So what is for the viewers at home? Were they open to the idea straight away? How much did you negotiate? Did you need to do?
A lot of it was, just kind of just proving what our experience and what we've done in the past and showing them examples about other properties. Stuff like that as well.
Yeah, but obviously one of the key points I think is when we're looking to sell deals and like source them onto other people, what kind of key differences do you feel like you've needed to make when we've been doing that?
I think it's just making sure they understand what's going on, just being like, I'm looking for a client, they've got this requirements, they're working with these companies, or they're targeting this area for whatever reason, or whatever story or developments are going on in the area. Obviously you create your own script, but I think a lot of them, once you explain and you create a connection with them, then it's fine.
I think a lot of the time what we tend to say that we do is we look at trying to find the property, but then when we come to the viewing we'll come with an investor. In this case, the person that we've got in mind for this one wasn't available to actually view the property, but a lot of the time what we would do is we'd get the viewing agreed, then we'd bring the investor to the viewing, and that way then it means you're introducing the investor to the landlord at the viewing as a partner that you're working with, as a business partner, so they can develop a relationship from day one. Because one of the most difficult things for when it's sourcing and selling rent to rents is actually having the relationship built with a landlord that you've done yourself. You've got everything going, you've got them really confident in you, to then go, oh, see you later, I'm not involved anymore, it's someone else that's going to be doing it. So if you bring them into the process earlier, it becomes a lot easier. But yeah, we're going to go down and we're going to have a discussion with the landlord now and see if he's got any questions about anything that we do, anything that we offer, anything like that. I'll get that nice and hidden and see what we can get. So, and again with this one, you're happy with the same kind of agreement that we did with the other one? Yeah. Okay, cool. And then like again, the longer agreement open to that. Well, we've seen it now, so we'll be able to go away and crunch our numbers a little bit and just make sure that all the numbers stack up on our end and come up with a few ideas, because obviously seeing it in person you can kind of get a bit of an idea of where we'd be able to put what. But yeah, no, all good. Well, cheers for showing us around and keep Alex up to date with the details, and we'll let you know what we're going on and try and potentially speak to you about getting contracts sorted and all that kind of stuff. Perfect. Awesome. Nice to meet you, mate. See you later, guys. So guys, I thought I'd jump in and go over a few of the objections that we would normally get, because obviously this landlord was pretty much laying down and being like, yep, I'm happy, you take my property and you do what you need to do with it. So obviously a lot of the time they don't always go as smooth as this. This particular landlord is someone who understood what rent to rent is, understood the model, and understood how that we'd be using the property and everything as well. So some of the key objections that you get a lot of the time is, actually there's been a video that I've done previously with Samuel Leeds, and I'm going to crop some of them bits into the video, and he will show you kind of how we overcome some of these objections live. The key one being, when you're looking at property deals like this, you get, is this just one of them holiday let Airbnb properties? And you need to give the landlord a really, really good answer at this point, because you need to make them feel secure in this type of agreement. You need to make them feel confident giving you their property. So here's what I would say if I got asked that question on a viewing.
So it's like an Airbnb sort of thing?
Like, we use that for marketing, but it's not Airbnb. Because that would be like short-term stays, like one night lets, things like that. We tend to work on a 3-night minimum. So it's anyone that's staying for, like, normally Monday to Friday is our primary market, getting contractors and people like that in yourself.
So as you can see, it is really important to get confidence in the person, get confidence for them, to get the landlord on your side, to make them feel comfortable giving you their property. And doing certain things like that can be really, really positive and really good. Obviously, there's a lot of other objections that you get. One of the key ones I can think of off the top of my head is, how do you know who's staying in the property? And this is one that'll stump a lot of people, I think, because especially if you're new to it or you're sourcing it and you haven't really run any rent-to-rents in the past, you might not know this, but when we are taking a new property, we often link it with our channel management system. So this system allows us to manage all of our bookings, and we know everything that's coming into there. But also what it allows us to do is send out terms and conditions, and it allows us to do ID checking as well. So when we're sending out the terms and the conditions, the person is agreeing to the house rules, they're agreeing to the deposit terms, they're agreeing to what the different fees are if anything does go wrong. And also we can ask them for the reason about what they're staying in the property for. Obviously, we're not going to let stag doos and hen doos come to the property, because that's a higher chance of the properties getting damaged. But what we are able to do is verify if the guest is who they say they are. We can check their ID, the passport, the driving licence, whatever they upload to the system, and then from there we can verify who is actually staying in the property. This gives the landlords that extra level of security that we know who's staying in the property, and that we know that it's going to be used for its intended purposes and not for parties and different things like that. And another thing is, well, how do I know that the property is not going to get damaged? Well, with this, I always like comparing it to what it'd be like to have a regular tenant who would be in the property. So if you say something along the lines of, well, if you had a normal tenant in the property, obviously you might not check the property, like you might see it once every 6 months or so you have no idea what the standard the property is going to be when you go back to check it. When we're managing a property like this, we get our cleaning team to go into the property, obviously on every changeover, but even if we have a longer term stay going in there, it'll be every 2 weeks that our cleaner's going in. And what they have to do every single time they go in, they send us pictures of the condition of the property, they report any issues, any light bulbs that have gone out, any chips in paintwork, any photos smashed or anything like that. And what we can do is we can solve this and sort this out immediately, because it is in our best interest that the property is held to a higher standard, so that we can create more revenue for our business as well. So we have just come out of the viewing. I think that this guy's pretty happy and ready to go in. I mean, it is someone that is seen the work that we can do, he's seen the stuff that we've done before, so he's pretty happy with this style of agreement. But that's the kind of thing, in it, when you show people that you can do good work, you get them these new opportunities and these new things over the line. So yeah, how do you think it went?
I think the viewing went well, but like you say, it's someone with knows of what we do. It's actually a family member that we deal with through him, and there was very sceptical at the start. I mean, we can put some up on the screen now, and you'll literally see my little pitch message after us asking, trying to open the line of communication, show my pitch message.
No, we'll blur it.
Yeah, we'll blur it.
If you join the sourcing sector community and you want some free bits about in there, we'll post the actual thing
and then
fully in there. So make sure, I haven't told you about it properly yet, but we're going to go to a coffee shop in a second. I'm going to tell you about the sourcing sector. Join the sourcing sector and you'll be getting little gems like this all the time. But go ahead.
So what basically you'll see, obviously, my pitch message, and then you see underneath that it'll just say no, not interested. But then you'll see how the whole negotiation parts of the message that got them to turn around, and in the end, I can't remember exactly the numbers. You'll have to put them up on the screen or something like that. We negotiated like 500-600 quid off the top of my head off the rent on that one.
I think it might
alone.
Have been more.
Might have been more. I can't remember. It was a little while ago.
No,
but that was going from a complete not interested to now wanting to work with us.
Yeah, and referring us on to other people that he knows and that kind of thing. So we're viewing this one through the fact that they've referred onto that. They know what we do. We've said that we work with other investors, so the chances are that we might be able to even sell this opportunity on to somebody else. We might sell it and then retain the management to it ourselves. But with it being so close to the hospital and there've been so many things around here that work well for service accommodation, I can't see us really wanting to like completely get rid of it, so it'll be something that we potentially retain management on and work with someone on the management capacity. But yeah, this sourcing process comes in many ways, and obviously this is sourcing rent to rent. We also do a lot of sourcing the buy, refurbish, refinance opportunities and flip opportunities, and just properties where you can buy them below market value and you can get a good exit strategy, whether that's serviced accommodation like this one, HMOs, or even like supported living, social housing. These super rent strategies,